Good morning everyone, it's Mrs. Hunt here. Today is Thursday, the 16th of April 2020. To start today's learning, we are going to do a comprehension. Do you remember we did one last week? Can you remember what a comprehension is? A comprehension is when we read a book and then we answer questions about it to see how well we were reading it and how well we were listening to it. Today, you are going to choose a book from your bookshelf at home and then you are going to answer a few questions about it. I've written some of the questions on the whiteboard here. So, should we have a practice together of a comprehension? I am going to read this book and then we are going to answer some questions about it together. I hope you're sitting comfortably. This book is called On the Moon and it is written by Anna Milbourne and illustrated by Benji Davis. On the Moon. This story is about a rocket, astronauts and the moon. The moon is very far away. Astronauts have been there. In this speech bubble, this little girl is saying, "I'm an astronaut too." The astronauts sat at the very top of a rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off! The rocket flew into space. It took 4 whole days to reach the moon. The astronauts landed in a little spaceship. They put on spacesuits to go outside. The moon was quiet and very dusty. There were mountains and huge holes called craters. The astronauts felt light and floaty. They could jump really far. Bounce, bounce, bounce. They explored in a moon buggy. They took photos and collected rocks. They even put up a flag. They looked at our world. It was very far away. That's our planet. Then they blasted off for home. The buggy, the flag, and their footprints are still there. Would you like to go to the moon? What a lovely story. Now, we are going to do our comprehension and we're going to use some of the questions here to see how well you were listening to the story. Okay, let's start with this one. This question says, who is the author and what do they do? Okay, who is the author? So we know that an author is someone who writes the book and usually their name is written on the front of the book. So let's have a look. It says, On the Moon, Anna Milbourne. So the author of this book is Anna Milbourne. Great. Who is the illustrator and what do they do? An illustrator. We know that an illustrator is someone who draws the pictures in the book. So it says here, it even says illustrated by Benji Davis. So we know the illustrator of this book is Benji Davis, and Benji Davis drew all of the lovely pictures in this book. Should we have a look at the next question? Who are the main characters? This one is an obvious one because we know there was a little girl in the story who was pretending to be an astronaut. She'd made her own spaceship there and had her space helmet as well. She was one of the characters. But the main characters were the astronauts that went up to the moon. You can see them here as well, putting on their spacesuits. Here when they landed on the moon, and here when they felt light and floaty on the moon. So our main characters really are the astronauts. Okay, the next question. What happened at the beginning, middle and end of our story? We can use our book to help us. So we know at the beginning of the story there was a little girl who was pretending to be the astronaut. That happened at the beginning. Then towards the middle, the astronauts flew into space. So in the middle of the story, they'd gone to the moon and they landed on the moon. And then at the end of the story, what did they do at the end? Of course, they flew back to Earth. That happened at the end of the story. So at the beginning, there was the little girl pretending to be the astronaut and looking up at the moon. In the middle, we saw the astronauts flying into space and landing on the moon. And at the end of the story, we saw the astronauts coming back to Earth and leaving the moon. Okay, where is the story set? Oh, this is a good question. Where is the story set? It's set in space, of course, on the moon. And what was your favourite part? Oh, this is easy for me. My favourite part was when they landed on the moon and they were looking at it and they put their space suits on. I like that because that must be a very exciting feeling to put your space suit on. And when they were getting ready to go to the moon for the very first time, I think it's my favourite part because they must have been really excited to go to the moon. Great, wow. So we've just done a very quick comprehension. And now I think you are ready to go and do your own comprehension. So make sure you choose a really exciting book that you think you would like to learn more about from your comprehension questions. And I look forward to hearing all about it. Bye for now.